Hey, back with another episode. Are you ready? Alrighty, SY Sports back with another college football video. I'll be going over my talent ratings for each of the Power 5 conferences. I won't be doing Group of 5. I mean, I'll throw out a few, but I'm not too worried about the Group of 5 unless they're like one of the more respected teams and they're playing a group or Power 5 team this year. I'm just gonna go in alphabetical order of the conferences. Each conference will get their own video. Let's get into it. I'm going to be starting from the top and working my way down because I know everybody doesn't really care about the lower teams, but I'm still going to put them in here anyways. All right, at number 1, I have Notre Dame at a 296 rating. My ratings are just numbers that I put together for each team that I can combine to, show who's more talented than who. This isn't power ratings. This is strictly based off recruiting and the transfer portal, who left and who came. All these rosters are updated, I want to say till July 28th. So anything that happens in fall camp, good luck to me. But I basically use these ratings for preseason win total betting. It kind of gives me a good look at what I should bet on, what are good numbers to look at, and all that jazz. So I threw Notre Dame in here because they deserve to be in the discussion of Power 5 teams, even though they're quote-unquote not. And I threw them in the ACC because they played in the ACC conference during COVID. Until they want to join the Big Ten, I'm just going to keep them in the ACC for now. So number 1, you could say Notre Dame at 296. Number 2, or you could say this is number 1, I have Miami. They shockingly have a rating of 290. Now how the gaps in between the numbers work is basically, a few numbers doesn't really affect. There's not a huge gap. I would say the teams are pretty similar until there's like a 25-point gap. That's usually a good amount of players to where it's good enough to tell this team is way better than the other team. But so you see the 296 and the 290. There's not a whole lot difference there. That kind of comes down to just basically quarterback and coaching, which I think are the two most important things when it comes to college football. So at number 2, I have Miami at 290. Number 3, everybody can guess, Clemson. You would have thought they were number 1, but shockingly in my numbers, they came up as number 3. I have them at 283. Now, I think they're just not there where they're usually at. It's because they kind of lose a lot to the transfer portal, but they don't gain enough back, and Dabo doesn't recruit. The last few classes seems like he hasn't recruited a lot quantity wise, but quality wise it's been great. You know, they have double-digit 5-stars. They have tons of 4-stars, but they've just lost a good amount to the transfer portal to where they haven't returned because he doesn't accept transfers for some weird reason. I will never know. But anyways, Clemson number 3 at 283. So 7 points in between. It's not a whole lot. Number 4, I have North Carolina, and now this is where it starts dropping. 269. Now I said 25 points, 24 points, close enough. That's a good enough chunk gap. North Carolina just lost a lot to the NFL draft, but they're recruiting well. If I look at my notes right, there's still a lot from like the Sam Howell class, but they're more younger than, you know, older. And yeah, you know, I have number 4, 269. That's a good number. Number 5. Florida State, I have them at 267, so, you know, similar to North Carolina. But shockingly enough, there are no 5-star players on Florida State. I would have never thought of that ever. You know, I didn't grow up watching them in, like, the 90s and 80s. But I still watched Jameis Winston win a national championship, and he was one of my favorite college quarterbacks that I've ever seen, so... It's just mind-boggling to me what's happened at Florida State talent-wise since, you know, Jimbo's been gone. It's very mind-boggling. But number 5, Florida State. Number 6, I have the Hokies of Vitek at 254. Now, there's a decent enough gap, but they're still kind of similar. It could just be a few players. You never know. Yeah, no 5-stars for Virginia Tech, but Virginia Tech's never been that kind of program. You know, I'm trying to compare them right now, like, talent-wise. But, you know, they're middle of the road. They always were. It just was that Beamer was such a great coach that I think they, you know, just won more games than what was on the roster. And, I mean, you can disclude the Michael Vick year, clearly. Anyways, number 7, I have NC State. I have them at 253, so similar to Virginia Tech. There's a bunch of like off-season buzz with them, and it shocked me when it came to my talent ratings. But the reason was because they have a lot of quantity, but they don't have a lot of quality. This team has a lot of veterans. It's the most veteran team coming back this year in my ratings. It was just shocking to see them at 7. I thought they'd be, you know, at where Florida State was at 5 to 4. But yeah, anyways, NC State, number 7. Number 8, this is the most shocking one to me because of what they've done the past, you know, 6-7 years or whatever. It's Georgia Tech. I have Georgia Tech at number 8 at 250, so similar to NC State and Virginia Tech. It seems like to me in my ratings that they've been recruiting better the past 2 seasons and not prior to that. They did lose their star player to Bama, but they're in a very talented, rich area, so I guess it's not as shocking that they're as high as they are, but just the amount of wins that they're producing, to see them at number 8 is very mind-boggling. Now, I know they went from triple option, but still, 250 is not a horrible number. It's not a great number. You know, it's kind of just smack down in the middle of everybody else in the country. All right, at number 9, I have Boston College. That seems about right to me. They got a great quarterback, but, you know, it's Boston College. They don't really recruit well. 248, so, you know, similar to the so 6 through 9 are very similar teams. You could throw Florida State, North Carolina in there, but there is a little gap between Florida State or between number 5 and 6. So 6 through 9, all similar teams. Number 10, Virginia, the Cavaliers. I'm at 238. Now there's another quote unquote gap. It's only 10 points, but it's still, you know, there's a reason. You know, Virginia doesn't recruit that well. You know, they're mostly made of 3-star players. A lot of quantity, more than quality. So Virginia at 238. Number 11 is Wake Forest. This one, the next 2 actually shocked me too, for how good they were to be at 231 coming into the season. That just shows what good quarterback play can do and good coaching can do. To be the 11th most talented team according to my ratings coming into the season. I did this last year, but I clearly didn't show the videos, and they were still low. it just shows what good quarterback play can do when you don't have the 4 or 5-star players. Number 12, was Pitt. 230, similar to Wake Forest, both similar, went to the ACC championship. But Pitt lost their star-studded players, their talented players, but they're bringing a whole lot back on that defense. The defense should be just as good, if not better. You guys got to probably look out for the offense, but that's near here or there. This is just for talent ratings. I got Pitt at 230. So similar to Wake Forest, somewhat similar to Virginia, but shockingly bottom 3 of the ACC. Number 13, I have Syracuse. 228, representing the orange, baby. 228. Now, I would say anything below 250 is kind of concerning to where if you're a fan of this team, that they may not end up being good. Now, like I said, good quarterback play always helps. Look at Wake Forest. You know, look what happened to Pitt last year. But Syracuse all the way down to 228. Nothing special quarterback-wise, you know. But Dino Babers is coaching for his life, so maybe it'll be different. But if you're looking, I think their spread was at like 4. I don't know if I'd touch that. If I were to touch that, it would probably be an under. Number 14, there's a tie between Duke and Louisville for the bottom at 224. I would have suspected Duke because of new coaching. I believe they lost a lot. You know, it's Duke basketball school, not football school. But Louisville at the bottom was also very shocking. I would have thought they would have been right in the middle, kind of like where Georgia Tech is, Boston College is. But all the way at the bottom. But they also have a good quarterback coming into the season. So, like, if I were to do like a power rating right now, or not a power rating, but if I were to do like an actual like quick estimate of what I think is going to happen, I would, not looking at the talent ratings, I would probably jump Louisville over Syracuse, and Pitt. Just quarterback play, you know, like I said, can help a lot. I don't know. I think their win total is at 6. Now, looking at this, I would clearly take the under, but this has somewhat to do with it has majority of what I do with the betting, preseason betting, but it's not everything. So, like, if I were just to look at this, I would definitely take the under for Louisville. If what I believe was at 6, I would definitely take the under, but they do have a great quarterback, and I think Scott Satterfield is a good coach. But anyways, these are my power ratings, or my talent ratings, and yeah, if you got anything to say about it, just let me know down below. I'd love to debate about it. I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to see where I look like an idiot or where I look good, you know. Just like talking college football, just like everybody else. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.